Big story today, of course, obviously Thomas Frank, a great Brentford manager for 7 years as head coach and lost his job at Tottenham. What's your reaction?
Yeah, I found out as I was in the meeting room, getting ready to present bits on Arsenal, obviously, around that game plan to the players. Just got told about, so very sad, really. Was my initial feeling. Thomas is a friend, very aware of the football industry that we work in and what goes on in that, but my initial feeling was that of sadness and basically hope he's okay, which I'm sure he will be, but today's obviously a really tough day for him.
Have you been in touch, and how much sympathy do you have with him?
Have I?
Have you been in touch with him, and how much sympathy do you have?
No, I've been pretty busy the last few hours with meetings, training sessions, and then obviously to come in here, so no, not as of yet, but of course I have huge empathy for him and feel for him and his staff at the moment, of a lot of which I obviously know and worked with last year, so yeah, I feel for him.
It was really painful watching some of the grief he was getting from the fans. You know, there were a lot of injuries there, and Spurs were struggling last season. Spurs fans were ringing up on national radio this morning saying he was out of his depth. Is that fair?
No, not for me. I must be really honest at this point in saying I really don't know what goes on at Spurs. I think you can appreciate I've got a really busy job myself, and my absolute focus from day one has always been on this job, but the last comment you said, is that fair? Absolutely not. No, Thomas is a really good manager. I think he's proved that here over numerous years.
And he was so well loved here. Is so well loved here. What did you learn from him?
A lot. Good man, good values, really intertwined with the club values of in which way the club has been built over numerous years, and the culture that was built within the club long before I arrived, which I've wanted to really keep intact and then enhance if possible. So yeah, Thomas is, like I said, he's a very good friend, and I'm sure I'll catch up with him pretty soon.
In just 5 minutes on this, do you expect him to bounce back from this?
I don't think that's in doubt. Yeah, I think he's proved himself as a really good Premier League manager. So yeah, absolutely.
Keith, this is a massive game against Arsenal. What's the team news? Any injury issues after Newcastle?
No, pretty good. Obviously a very intense game, always is when you play Newcastle. Players I thought were excellent on that front. Usual knocks, bruises, but nothing major where it concerns anything for the selection for tomorrow.
And Dانgo with the winning goal there. He's 24 today, so happy birthday to him. How good has he been in his first season at Brentford? Yeah, he's had a few happy birthdays today. He's had it in different languages, which has been quite nice. He's in good form. He's been brilliant. Yeah, I mentioned it over the last couple of weeks. The season probably has been a tad disjointed. The nature of him moving club, arriving slightly late into pre-season. Season had already started actually as he'd signed. Loved working with him. He's quiet by nature. His ceiling is high, I feel, as a player, and his approach to what we do and how we go about it, I think, is very selfless, which again is a very important part of what we ask of the players. On certain occasions you see him the way he defends selflessly, but the quality that he has is obviously undoubtable. You're up against the best team in the league. They've only conceded 17 goals in 25 Premier League games. How are you going to hurt them?
A pretty good attacking team ourselves. We've got a lot of strengths to how we play the game. There's absolutely no doubt it's going to be a really difficult game. I agree with you. They are the best team in the country. The table doesn't tend to lie. They've got so many talented individuals that are capable of moments, and then equally the way that Mikel has the team set up and how they can hurt you in different phases of the game. You have to be on things for every minute of the game, every second of the game to try and nullify what they throw at you. So we'll have to produce a top performance.
You have a 17-goal striker who's tearing up the league. Is this a night for Thiago?
I think it's a night he's looking forward to for sure. Yeah, he's in really good form. Clearly, he's leading the line well. He's scoring goals. He's playing with confidence. He's loving playing with his teammates. The relationships that we've spoke about early in the season and how we want to build those, and the rapport that players have, that connection, that cohesion that they have, I think has been even more evident. You think about him and Danggo in recent weeks. So yeah, I think Thiago's in a good place for tomorrow night.
Keith, everyone remembers Brentford's first Premier League game against Arsenal on Friday night. You know, they took the roof off the place. You beat them, haven't managed to win since against Arsenal. But I mean, it's a special memory for Brentford fans, and one they still cherish, I guess.
Yeah, I remember watching it quite vividly actually. Wasn't at the game, watched on TV, but it was a special night for the football club. That'll be long remembered. So yeah, we're very hopeful that we can produce another night like that. But like I said, we need to play very, very well against a top team for that to be recreated.
And I guess the set piece battle could be a big factor. Arsenal are kings of causing chaos from long throws, from corners, from free kicks, but you're pretty good at defending them. So how much of a factor will this be in this match? Yeah,
no doubt it's going to be a huge part of the game. We cause a lot of chaos ourselves, so I'll look forward to that story unfolding.
And looking at the table, Keith, you're right in the middle of the European race. Top 5 is now the question. What's realistic now, do you think?
Not sure. Is the honest answer. I'm very much fixated on the next game. I don't tend to look too far ahead. Everything I have goes into the next game and preparations and the emotions of each game, preparing for that and trying to get the group in the right place and just keep pushing, really. Keep being demanding of each other weekly, what we do, how we do it. Still remain really, really humble, but equally really, really hungry. I think that'll serve us well.
Can you take Arsenal down?
Can we take Arsenal down? We'll find out tomorrow night, I suppose, won't we? But like I keep saying, we'll have to produce a top performance. But we've been producing top performances. Thank you, Jamie. Hey.
Across the top 5 leagues this season, only Bayern Munich have scored more goals via counter-attacking football. So that's a great stat for you. You could say you deal with pressure very well as a consequence of that. How much has that actually been worked on in training and tactics, or do you feel that that's very instinctual from your midfield to your attacks and push back as quick as you can?
I would say a combination, to be really truthful. We definitely train aspects of the game that is visible in the games, but equally the players have to feel that moment. They have to produce the actions, the skill, the decision making. I have absolute trust in them. We speak about it all the time, that the game is filled with little moments of decision, and they have to make those decisions, whether it's the right pass, the timing of it, etc. I think there's a real unselfish nature to the way we play the game. We'll take the extra pass, the penalty against Newcastle, a good example of that. Danggo could have taken the shot. Maybe some of me was wishing he would have taken the shot. But yeah, it's a part of the game. We train a lot and we work on a lot because we know we're pretty effective from that.
And in the last 10 Premier League games, you and Arsenal the team to take the most points from those. What have you made about their style of play this season? There's been a lot of comments on it, relying on set pieces, but it's part of the game, they're winning points. What have you made looking at them in the past few days? Yeah,
I can't speak about comments about them. I can tell you what I think about them as a team. I think they're a really good team. I think they know how to win football games regardless of what is thrown at them within the games. You've touched on the set pieces. Obviously that's going to be a huge part of it, and it has been for where they've got to and how it's got them ahead in a lot of games that they've played this season. But equally the individuals that they have, whoever they can call upon, they've got some seriously talented players. I think they're excellent out of possession. The way they defend as a unit, whether it's high or when they drop low and defend their box, and the relationships that they have. A lot of the players have been together for a few years now, and you can see those relationships are pretty tight. So they're a very, very well coached team.
And against Aston Villa, you dropped to 10 men and you said defensive masterclass. Then against Newcastle, we see an attacking masterclass. This is a dream for a lot of managers to have a team that can, I guess, alter their game plan so well to what's required of them. How much heart of that has come from the players? A lot of that is mentality to deal with what's thrown at them in the game.
I think you have to deal with adversity. You have to deal with whatever's thrown at you within games. You always try and frame a game and foresee what it might look like and how you can get control and what you work on without the ball. But it doesn't always pan out that way. I think that the reality is at times the team that can be very calm in the chaos is the team that can come through that spell. And I think you've alluded to it in the last 2 games. We've had to deal with different types of games naturally, and show different types of trends to get 2 really good wins. Thank you.
Anyone else before we go under bucket? Jerry.
Keith, Arsenal have been labelled set piece FC because of their reliance on so many goals from that situations. Do you think it's unfair they're not getting the credit, because obviously it takes all sorts of ways to score goals to win games and they're being pragmatic?
Yeah, I think they know how to win football games. I think it's pretty evident. Like I've said, I don't read anything about my team, so I certainly don't read too much about anybody else's team. I've got ultimate respect for the way he sets up the team, the way he goes about his business, the journey that he's brought that team on, the mentality that he's instilled within the group, and they're in a pretty good position. I think a lot of Arsenal fans would have taken that at the start of the season.
Just on your own position, when you took the job at the start of the season, did you imagine it could go this well? Although we're not through the season yet, but at this stage, where you are?
Probably not. But equally, I had a lot of confidence in the group and the club. What we could try to achieve, and you're right, the season is far from over. But I think what we've just done pretty consistently is just taking steps forward. Even when we've had setbacks, even when we've had results or performances that haven't been quite at the level, we've tended to just regroup and try and fix things in a very common sense way. What do we want to be? What do we want to achieve? Where do we want to go with this? And just work hard. Basically, I think that's been the underlying part of what we've done in a like I keep saying, a very very common sense type of mentality around everything. Stay humble, keep striving, and see where it brings us. But yeah, we're in a place where I feel like we deserve to be. I think the performances over the last few months in particular have been pretty good.
And just finally, do you relish those battles with the best managers in the business, Pep, Mikel, the rest? Do you see it as a personal test for you, also a chance to advance your understanding of what it takes to win football games?
I do relish them, yeah. I relish every single game. I feel like it's what I've worked towards for a long time. I've always had an impact in game plans or set pieces, whatever role I've been in. So whatever way the game pans out, I've always had an impact. But obviously in this role I have a greater impact. But there's still a lot of people involved in it. But I do relish the battles and the game plans and trying to ultimately trying to win games.
Sorry, I did say that was the last one. You were a captain quite early in your career as a young man. You're a leader, obviously. Is that something that you see across football? It's said Thomas thinks there aren't any great leaders at Tottenham, for example. Do you think the current players lack those leadership skills, or it's rare to find someone who's a good on-pitch leader?
I think players now are very different to 10, 15 years ago. Certainly when I started playing, I was involved in dressing rooms 25 plus years ago. So they are different generationally. Society has changed. I think you can lead in very different ways. I think in years gone by, players just used to shout nonsense. If we look back and we're really honest about what that was, it was motivational nonsense, really. Whereas now I think they're a lot more precise and concise with the information that they give, and I think it's at times it can be too easy to label them as that we don't have leaders anymore. I think what I have here and what I know I have here is I have people that lead by example on a day-to-day basis with their habits and their ways, and we say it all the time to the players and staff for that matter, that it's what you're doing when no one's looking, really, is the key. Thank you. Hey.
It's been a historic couple of weeks. The club first win at the Park, first win at Seniors Park since the 30s. Still plenty of records you're still able to achieve by the end of the season, such as European qualification, major trophy, highest points tally, for example. As head coach, how aware of these various milestones, and what would you like to achieve by the end of the season?
Yeah, I don't know. I get made aware of them probably in and around the event or after the event on occasions. we want to achieve as much as we can achieve, really, by just keep going. I don't really like to set targets for players or myself. I genuinely just go, what's next? It's Arsenal. What's next? It'll be Macclesfield, and I want to try and win every game. I think we've showed that we are capable of doing that. Equally, we're very understanding of the levels that we're up against tomorrow night, being as hard as it gets, really. But we can go into it in a way where we approach it with ultimate respect for the opposition, but no fear. And where that brings us, I'm not too sure.
I know you're reluctant to talk about Europe, which is understandable, but it must be hugely motivating for the players to have that at the end, potentially at the end of the season. Is that something discussed among them, or have you banned any talk of that, or insight you have to give us on that?
I haven't put a strict ban on it. So I'm not really that way inclined. I'm pretty big on free speech. Players are able to speak about what they want, and I think privately they probably are aspiring and looking to achieve things. But we as a staff certainly haven't put a tag on anything, and even among staff, I'm not really entertaining any talk. It's very much, what's the training week look like? Who do we need to work with individually? What's the priorities around training? What's the next game plan, etc. But yeah, I think it's right that players to a point, staff to a point, but definitely fans need to be dreaming about what is possible. But it's only possible by what I've just said. I know that's pretty boring for you, but it is day to day, week to week, because you start getting your head in the sky, it can become untangled pretty quickly.
And on facing Arsenal, obviously one of the narratives is set pieces for both teams. It was a good opportunity to ask about how you assess Brentford's set pieces this season. I believe that you scored 5, excluding penalties. Would you like to score more at this point? Where are you at?
I think you'd always want to score more. Yeah, I think that's the nature of the way we play the game. I think we've been on a journey. Obviously, Stephen's come in, new set piece coach towards the end of pre-season, into the season. I think he started. So yeah, we're constantly working on that part of our game, and the relationships, the routines, the leaders within that can drive that, and the voices, the different voices. I think new players have come into it. It's a different feel to the team to the one I had last year to work with from a set piece point of view. So yeah, we're constantly looking to strive in that department, because it's a huge part of what we do.
Just finding it feels like a while since you've been asked about long throws in particular.
Has it? From you, maybe?
With the unprecedented rise in long throws across the league, have you found it harder to score from them, because obviously teams will be more organised and have a set up, because most teams will be practicing depending on the ball.
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head. And I was at Arsenal's game last year in the Champions League when I think it was Thomas Partey launched one into the box, and I remember thinking, that's not good. That's not good, because it's going to catch on. When the big boys do things, it tends to trickle down. So you're right. What happens naturally is teams prepare week to week for long throws, or every other week, depending on what they're going to face for the opposition they're coming up against. And when you train it more, amazingly, you get better at it. So gone are the days when they just prepare for Brentford twice a season, and it's very, very new to them. So you're right, it's a different type of challenge now, because more teams are training it better, and they're more organised, I feel. Cheers.
And yes.
I don't want to make it all about set pieces, but just to go back to it one more time. Obviously, your background in being a set piece coach, what does that give you in terms of helping you nullify Arsenal's threat from set pieces? Obviously, they have been so effective. Can you take anything from your time doing that to prevent them from being successful against yourselves?
Yeah, listen, we have a set piece coach. It's not my absolute responsibility, but obviously I will oversee it and play a part in it to a point. Yeah, our defending set pieces have been really good this season. We've got ultimate confidence in our players and the pride that they take in it, how we train it, how we do things right, how we always very diligent around what the opposition will throw at you. Is that always perfect? Obviously not, but yeah, we need to be on it in that part of the game tomorrow night for sure.
And do you feel like when you look at Arsenal's set pieces and how effective they've been, is there anything you can take for your team to work on in the same thing? Because it seems like every team doesn't seem to be able to stop them, but no one seems to be able to replicate what they're doing.
I think there's a few key components to that. The delivery is normally pretty good. We've got some good players. We've got some big players. They're well organised, their timing is very good, and they attack it with aggression. There's a few core ingredients there that I feel like you stick all them together, the outcome's going to be pretty good. So yeah, they're clearly very good.
Okay, we'll now go under embargo. Everything from now on, 10:30 p.m. tonight for the